Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started here with our brow pack, our brow journal, okay, or brow handouts. Now, remember I told you I was supposed to get these before? I didn't, so I just gave you a copy of these 2 pages. If you want to later transfer the brows on here that you pre-drew before you learned about brows, you're more than welcome to. If you want to leave it on your other sheet, that's okay too. But that's what the point of this is. Okay, you already have it. Alright, so you got your little bucket of matte pencils or markers. Okay, when we take notes, we color a lot. Use a lot of color because color helps you memorize. Okay, helps you remember. So instead of in black and white, we use color. Okay. This word search is going to be a quick start for a different day, so just let's skip over that today. You've already colored it and you've already designed the brows on these ladies over here. We're not going to learn about makeup because TDLR, we do not license you to be able to do makeup, but we do use brushes with a lot of other different things. So I'm going to teach you about the brush and why it's important to have a good brush. Alright, so let's start at the bottom. This, and I'm going to extend it, is the handle of the brush. That is the handle. Sometimes we mix things with it. Okay, so that is the handle. After the handle, we have here, I'm going to highlight it this way, all the way. We have the ferrule. This is the metal part. This metal part, and I'm going to use a black marker so you can see, but you can use a pencil should you choose. Okay? So this here has a crimp. And you can see the little lines. That has a crimp because they have to squeeze the metal together so that, because this is typically made out of plastic, the handle is made out of plastic or wood. Okay? So they have to squeeze the metal over the top of the handle so it sticks. Okay? They don't put a screw through it, although I've seen that. But it's so that it grips it. Okay? And there's glue at that end of the ferrule. There's also glue at the heel part of the brush. Okay? The heel is here, and this is the toe. When you dip your toe in the water, when you dip your foot in the water, you dip your toe. Your toe is first. So imagine there's a foot right here, and the tippy toe of the toe is like the tippy toe of the brush. And the back of the foot is the heel, the back of the brush. Okay? Pretend you're looking at a foot when you're looking at a brush. It's the toe and that's the heel. On the ferrule, there is also sometimes a crimp right here at the heel. Not always, but especially with nail brushes, they will crimp, meaning squeeze together. Instead of it being round, it becomes oval, and it flattens your brush for better application for nail brushes, acrylic brushes. Okay? So, that is something to always keep in mind. There's glue there so that the bristles will stick. If you immerse your brush in water and you leave it soaking, that water, especially if it's hot, will dilute the glue here at the heel and the bristles will slide out. Or if you did really have it in there and this part between the ferrule and the handle are dipped in water for a long time, especially hot water, it will soften the glue. It will melt the glue, dissolve it, and your bristle, your handle and your ferrule come apart. Okay, so your $30 brush is now a $0 brush because you broke it. Okay, so take good care of your brushes. Oh, last one, the bristle. This is the bristle of the brush. The bristle, there's different kinds of bristles. Okay, the action end of the brush is what the bristle is. Does all the action. Okay? The bristles can be wide, fluffy, long, made out of animal. I've seen human. Made out of animal hair, synthetic meaning fake, plastic. Okay? Certain brushes are meant and made for certain things. Just kind of depends on what you're working on. Let's go to the next page. This kind of explains a lot of things. Explains how brushes are made out of animal hair. Some people that are against animal cruelty, they won't touch brushes with animal hair. You only use synthetic. Depends. The brush is made to make the job easier and better for you, so you choose what fits best with you. Okay? This next one here. How the hair is obtained, and then also synthetic hair. The differences between synthetic and animal hair is a chart right here you can look through. We're not going to go over it together. Okay? Turn the page. Here, you have your lip brush. With the lip brush, it tells you your purpose. What's the point of it? Why is it shaped that way? The shape, what that particular shape does for you, and any tips you might need to know. Eyeshadow. Same thing. You have your eyeshadow brushes because they're small, medium, large. Different type bristle. This is a white bristle. You can't see it because the way it's copied. But you have your purpose, you have your shape, and you have your tips. Then you have your blending brushes. You've got the short ones and the long ones and different material that they're made out of. Same thing. You have your purpose, you have your shape, and then you have your tips. Next, you have your eyeliner brushes. Now, this is definitely, the eyeliner brushes are one that have the most different types of bristles that are constructed in certain ways. Okay? You have your purpose, your shape, and tips. Mascara brush. Some people call it your mascara wand, but it's a brush because it's the brush structure, not the wand. It's just like a piece of plastic stick. With the mascara brush, you have your purpose, you have your shape, and then you have your tip. And then we're getting to where I want to get, where we need to get, which is the brow. This is the brow brush. The brow brush, as you can examine here, as we just learned the anatomy of the brush, the structure of it. It has everything. It's got the brush handle, it's got the ferrule, it's got the crimp, it's got the brush, the head and the heel. I'm sorry, the toe and the heel, the bristles. Okay? The purpose is precision. Super important. You need to be precise because the eyebrows are precise. You can't use a blush brush on your eyebrows because that would be funny, huh? Your bristles need to make sure that they're able to handle the job. So, it is small, it is stiff, and dense. The brush is small, so the bristles need to be short. If they're too long, they kind of are floppy and you don't have control over them. The brush is stiff, because you just want it here, and you want it here and here. You don't need to go like your brush going all over the place. You need to be a certain spot. And it needs to be dense. A little bit of bristles, because it's a fine line. You're not a blush brush where you're covering a big area. You're working on a small area of the hair of the face. There it's cut with a blunt edge at an angle. So you see here, it's got the shape of a triangle because of the shape of the brow. So this here is your angle. You can use a flat one. This is a little bit harder to work with. Okay, but you can use a flat, just square brush. And then of course you have your tips. the details of your brushes. Let's turn the page. So this architect page here, these are the tools, basic tools of brow work. Okay? You have your slanted tip tweezers. Okay? These are going to have an angle like so. The slanted tip tweezers are great for removing single hairs and having a good grasp of them. It's pointed and slanted so you can really get into the detail, especially right under the brow. Okay? Then you're going to have your square tweezers. Okay? The square tweezers, even whether it's long, wide, or thin and narrow, but the tip is squared. Okay? These are great to remove thick, coarse hairs that are just stubborn and you just cannot grab them. Because instead of picking with a thumb and a finger, picking one little piece, one little hair, the square ones are like a claw. You get more coverage. Okay, grab that hair and yank it out because it's being stubborn. Then you have your point tip tweezers or the needle nose, which like they're really pointy, like the nose of the tweezer is like needle. It's really long. It's really great for like really getting in there, picking single individual hairs, picking up and picking at stubborn hairs. More than anything is to help separate your lashes or brows if you're adding extensions to your brows, which is the thing. Okay? So these are just very pointy. Then you have your brow brush and your comb. On one side you have the brush, which has lots of bristles and a few rows. They're not too long. They're made out of plastic, and it helps you keep and maintain and you tame your brows with a little bit of a brush. And then you have your comb, which the teeth are very close together. It's one straight row, and they're made out of hard plastic. Then you have your brow scissors. The brow scissors are either going to have a straight edge, short or long, or they're going to have a curved edge, typically short. Sometimes at the arch of the brow you need a curved scissor, or at the bottom of the arch. But at the base, from the inside corner to the arch, you need a straight line, so you need a straight scissor. If you cut with a curved scissor, then you're going to curve a hole in the brow. So you need both types of scissors. Then you have your brow stencils. With your brow stencils, this is not a professional thing, so if you like pull up to a wedding and you bust out your stencils, they're going to be like, am I paying $85 for you to stencil my eyebrows? Like, that, my grandma can do that. Because it's true, grandma can stencil a brow. Put the piece of plastic, tap, tap, tap some powder, and done. It's just maybe lopsided, but, so that's kind of like a DIY thing, but it is a thing, okay? Stencils are something that are out there and you can use. Just have to make sure it's even on both sides, okay? But not a professional tool. And then you have your tracing pencil, which you'll be using this week. Your tracing pencil is for you to mark the lines of where the brow should start, where the arch should be, and where should the brow stop, and then the horizontal line to make sure it's even. Very easily comes off with makeup remover. The newest modern, since microblading came around that I'm aware of, it could have been there before, I just didn't know about it, is a string. It's the lining string, so it's a string that's like covered with like black powder, and then you just take the string and you just hold it and it marks your skin, and it stains your skin in the certain spot. So you'll be using that tomorrow, okay? Alright, so those are the basic tools. Let's go to the next point. You're going to need 2 color markers for this one. I'll use pink. Pick a color, come on. I take forever picking colors, it's ridiculous. Okay, so this is the basic brow shaping tips, tricks, techniques, points. As I'm teaching you, I'll repeat things and I'll call one thing like 5 different things and you're like, oh my gosh, she's crazy. No, I'm not crazy, okay? If I say, hey, go get a 4x4, You're like a piece of wood, like a 4x4? No, a 4x4 is a facial square, also known as a facial towelette, also known as a facial towel, also known as, right? So when I teach you, I call things all the different ways I'm aware that the industry calls that one thing, so that when you hear it, you're not like, what's a 4x4? I don't know, right? So I try to expose you to that vocabulary, to that jargon, okay? So, not crazy, promise. Well, I'm crazy, but not for that. All right, so your brow should begin at the inside corner of the eye. So this is my pencil or my spatula, and this is where I'm going to place. There's other reference points, and we're going to go over that tomorrow. But I'm going to place my brow, start, right, on the inside. So when you take your brush or your spatula, you're going to place your spatula or brush or pencil, whatever tool you're using, putting it on the side of the nose, straight up. Client's got to be sitting up, looking forward, nice and straight, and that's where the brow should start. That is this point here. That is the start, the begin, or the start of the brow. The inside corner of the eye. The point of the arch, okay, should be outside the pupil. So this is my pencil. When the client is looking straight forward, the outside of the pupil is where the arch should be, the point. The pupil is the outer part of the eye, the eyeball, the colored part of the eyeball. No, the iris is the outside, the pupil is the middle. The pupil is what dilates, my apologies. The tail of the brow should not dip lower than the outside corner. So the tail ends here. Take your brow, you hold it over the side by your nose, and that's where your brow tip should be. Okay, the tail. And then you have the brow should begin and end in the same place horizontally. So if I place my spatula or pencil straight across like so, okay, it should begin and it should end. First and third points we did should begin the same spot. We're going to make an observation of one that is not starting and stopping at the same spot in just a second, so you can see what that does to a face. Questions? Let's turn the page. These are great tips for brow tweezing. I'm not going to go over this. This is read at your leisure on your own. Alright, so here we have, okay, our brow. If the brow is naturally too droopy, so like the outline is what the client comes in with, okay, the pink is how you correct it. So you're going to have to bring the brow outward and take a little bit off from the front so that it to be more even. Because if you put a horizontal line here, the start of the brow and the end of the brow, they don't match. They're not horizontal, so it doesn't work. So sometimes when your clients come in, you're going to have to correct their mistakes. Sometimes we over tweeze or under tweeze. So that's why you charge them more, because it's a custom design. If the brow is too thick, okay, the outline is what the client came in with, then you're going to get rid of some of the hair, give her an arch, and thin it out. Because your brow should be like a parallel line. So it should go here, and it should go here. Does that make sense? And then it's a triangle at the tip. Like so. Here's your triangle. Yeah? If the client has the brow that is really thin, then you really got to add hair at the top and add hair at the bottom to make it thicker. Hair, brow hair, once you tweeze it out, does not grow back as fast, as thick, and as sometimes ever. So you got to really be careful that you take good care of it. If it is too bushy, you have to take your tweezers, your straight or curved tweezer, and you got to comb and cut the hair. Especially the older you get, especially on men, because their bushy eyebrows would get a little crazy. If it is too arched, you have to remove some of the arch from the top to bring it down. You don't want her or him to look surprised all the time. And if it's too straight, then you have to add somewhat of an arch and bring it down so that the brow has an actual curve, an actual shape. Okay? So this is for corrections. And of course there's a little bit more verbiage there you can go through and look at. Alright, let's go over the last 2 pages. Long face. Get a dark marker. I'm going to use black. Take a look at her brows. Do you see how that starts and stops at the not horizontal line? It starts higher and it stops lower, right? So if you were to draw a horizontal line here, it's not horizontal, right? Because the start is up here and the stop is down here, and it's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be horizontal. So if we were to give her some brows, look at that difference. She has a long face already. Okay? Here's what's wrong with her besides her eyebrows. 1, she's got a part down the middle. No. Bad. Big forehead, part down the middle. Nope, because it makes the forehead bigger. You'll never see me in a part down the middle. My forehead's big as Texas. Okay? She doesn't have fringe. We don't call it a bang. We call it a fringe. So let's give her some fringe. See, her forehead just went away. She looks like Dora the Explorer now, but her forehead went away. Okay? Now let's give her some face frame. And let's get rid of this old grandma hairstyle. Okay? It gets rid of the length of her hair, of her face. Okay? Makes her look a lot better. Don't you agree? And then of course we gotta get rid of the middle part, because girlfriend, that's not working out for you. Let's give her side part. Okay? Just by changing, the hair changed the whole look, but just by changing the eyebrow, that changed a lot. Eyebrows are important. Eyebrows will make or break a person's look. Very important to know the structure of the face, so let's check out the structure of the face. Okay? So here, an oblong face shape is long up and down. A rectangle, very similar to the oblong, is long up and down, except for the edges of an oblong at the hairline are round, and at a rectangle in the jaw, they're a little bit more squarish. For a round face, your edges, which are the corner of the top of the forehead line and at your jaw, they're more rounded. And you're about the same size up and down as you are side to side, but you're definitely more rounded at the cheek area. If you're a square, then you're going to be same from top to bottom to side like the round, except for instead of being rounded on the corners, 2 top of the forehead, 2 top at the bottom of the jaw, you're going to be more edged, more chiseled, more square. An inverted triangle, you're going to be pointy at the chin and wide at the eyebrow. Okay? Pointed at the chin, wide at the brow. I'm sorry, at the forehead. If you are heart, you're the same thing as the inverted triangle. Same. Except for you have the widow's peak. And you have a very round forehead line. with your diamond, you are wide at the cheekbone and you're long. Pointed at the jaw and pointed at the forehead, which makes your diamond. And then your triangle, you're going to be pointed at the chin. I'm sorry, my apologies, this is wrong. Your triangle is opposite of the inverted triangle. It's going to be wide at the jaw, chin area, and you're going to be pointy. Let me cover that. And you're going to be pointy at the forehead, opposite of an inverted triangle. So my apologies, you do not have that there. My apologies. Now it looks like she has a beard. Fabulous. So then oval, a long time ago Leonardo da Vinci said that oval was the most perfect face shape, and everybody has been chasing it ever since. So that is the ideal face shape. That is what everybody, all the makeup artists and people try to mimic with all the contouring and 10 pounds of makeup. Hugely important to understand the face shape in order for you to properly service your clients.